If you're a heating air machine technician or even a salesperson, what is negging in the world of sales and why does it matter? This is a super important question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell, coming to you live for HVAC Technician Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. Coming to you live from Sacramento. All right, so to give you a background on the word negging, this really comes from like the early 2000s. And there was this guy that would teach dating and social interactions, and his name was Mystery. That was his handle, right? That was his call sign or whatever you want to call it. His real name is Eric. And Eric would gather groups of men and take them into events all over the country and charge them to go learn how to hit on women, to get relationships, to start conversations, to open conversations. And he used a lot of psychology. Now, he did not invent this process, but I'll tell you that he put a good name to it that stuck. And where it really stuck was when Neil Strauss wrote the book, The Game. And so Neil Strauss embedded himself in the dating community in the like 2007, 2008 time. And he went by the name Style. And, you know, he went undercover to go see how these guys would hit on women and what they would do. And so there was a lot of different ways to use a neg, right? And so here's the belief. If I put you in a downward position in the beginning of a relationship, you have to then justify yourself to me, okay? And so this is all about making somebody feel bad and then making them retort back to you or have a conversation or comply to your demands. Now, do I believe this is the right thing to do? This is not my decision, right? But I will share with you that people in sales have been doing this for a long freaking time. So you're like, hey, Scott, give me some examples. I'll give you some dating examples, and then I'll give you some real life examples that have happened to me. So in dating, back in the day, 2007, 2008, one of these guys that went and learned the mystery method, they would go to a bar, they would meet a woman, and they would go, hey, you know, my name's, I'll make up a call sign, Firefox. Nice nails. Are they fake? Right? And it's like, well, it's kind of like just, right? Or is that your real hair or are those extensions? It's kind of like abrasive, but not abrasive, but kind of abrasive. And so like those are two dating examples. Now I remember in 2009, 2010, I really wanted some leather sofas. And I'm 6'2". I am not by any means a skinny dude, and I'm not by any means a short dude. And so a deep couch, of all things, is important to me. And so I go to the local store that sells leather sofas. And in 1997, I worked for a company that moved expensive leather sofas. So I kind of knew what I was getting into. Had a budget of about $6,000 to $10,000. Had the money, cash in pocket. Move on, cash money in pocket, right? So I go to said location to buy a couch. And I'm looking around and they grab me a salesperson. And the salesperson really couldn't answer my question. It was a new location. It was a franchise. Fine, no problem. No worries. And the salesperson can answer my question, so they grab the rep. And the rep comes to me, and I'm wearing board shorts and a T-shirt. Now, granted, 2008, I'm like 32. I look 32. I act 32. I am 32. Right? And it is what it is. So I'm having this conversation with this rep, and he says, so what is it that you're looking for? He's trying to qualify me. Are you looking for something traditional? You're looking for something new? Because at the end of the day, I don't think you can afford this, right? And so what this is meant to do is to get somebody to go, oh, I'll prove you wrong. Remember, it's all about justification. I'll prove you wrong, and I didn't really understand this process. So I reach into my pocket, pull out a stack of hundos, like boom, right? Stack of hundos, big old Watto cash, gangster roll, you know, cheddar, whatever you want to call it. And I said, look, man, I really wanted to buy these things, but you really pissed me off. And his eyes got really wide. He didn't really think that I could make this purchase. And so, like, when you think back, like maybe you went to go buy something. This happened to me when I went to go buy a car, right? Like I've got a 2019 Toyota Camry. That's what I'm sitting in right now, right? Just a basic Camry. I kind of got negged when I bought my Camry. And the guy was like, you know, I don't think you could afford this. And long story short, like I was there for 6 hours. I was there way too long. But what you need to know is in the world of sales, some sales coaches, some sales trainers, some people who purport to know what they're doing will say this is how you acquire a client. Now, there is a danger to it, but before we get to that, you should really email this. It's like right here. There's a URL, you type it in, you go to that location, you drop in your name and your email address. I'll give you goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. Sometimes that's private coaching, private training, group training, or discounted stuff for you. It's really cool. Now, the reason why I think that this is a dangerous way is you're starting off on a negative foot. Like, if you're thinking about, like, if this was a personal relationship of somebody that you really cared about, somebody that you wanted to be in a long-term relationship, would you treat that person that way? Right? I tend to think of people who teach these types of techniques, and I'm not a fan, just so you know, I'm not a fan. I'll make it very clear. I'm not a fan of this for this reason, is you're starting somebody off on a relationship where you're causing them to justify themselves to you, and it actually over time puts you in a bad position. Now, some people are going to disagree with this. They're going to say, Scott, a deal is a deal, a closed sale is a closed sale. And like, you know, to a point that's true until you burn out the marketplace. So I have this belief that you have a role and responsibility to do things the right way. Would I use this probably 10 years ago? Probably, right? But I have a different understanding of the marketplace. Would I use it today? Absolutely not. Right? I have evolved in my beliefs of sales, and my beliefs of talents, and my beliefs of capabilities. And here's the thing, I don't need to do it anymore. Right? As you get the skills, the talents, and the capability, these are things that you learn, like, I don't really need to do this. I don't really need to try to get somebody to justify themselves to me. Right? I know how to have a more elegant conversation. I know how to get people to engage in a conversation differently. Right? There's different gradients to your sales learning process. There's different things that you learn over time. And you could drop in the chat and be like, Scott, I use negging all the time and I close deals all the time, and you're wrong. That's fine. Right? My style's not your style. Your style's not my sales style. And that's cool. Like, at the end of the day, we're all making a pie. We're baking a cake. We got a recipe, and the end result is the end result. I'm just saying, today, as it sits right now, it's not the way that I would do things. I would much rather ask questions for engagement. I would much rather do values elicitation models. I would much rather get them on board with sharing me what they're looking for. Probably taking just a few minutes longer. But really understand that negging, it can be effective. It can be useful. You have to do it the right way. I've seen other coaches and other trainers use it. I've talked to quite a few people who are really well up in influence. Actually, Dr. Kevin Hogan and I had a really good conversation about this at his house a couple of years ago. We talked about negging and how it can be seen as effective, but can cause you some problems. So just something that I wouldn't do. You got one of three things to do from here, just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. You can share this on social media, which is like, that's cool. You can share this on social media. That would be like, right? Third, you can share this video with a friend, because they're going to be like, I love that Scott Sylvan Bell dude, which is true too, right? There you go. One of those three things, you'll be my favorite person of the day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.